Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Adil Ahmad and we're going to start the session. First of all, I would like to introduce Dr. Asif Muhyiddin. Dr. Asif Muhyiddin is the current president of APPNA. He's a Dow graduate, a board certified gastroenterologist, currently in practice in Florida. And Dr. Muhyiddin, if you can please say a few words and start the course.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and thank you for joining this very important webinar. We wanted to introduce, we have a lot of potential in APPNA, and there's a lot of people who are upcoming leaders, and we wanted on an official level to have some kind of training for them so they could be in the next of this organization. And that was the thought process that you all worked on it, and alhamdulillah, we have a great session, inshallah, today. So I welcome everybody. Please make as much use of it as possible, and hopefully you will enjoy the session. Thank you so much, Sadek, Naved, and yourself, and everybody for arranging this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhyiddin. I'm going to introduce the two speakers for the course first, and I'm going to do a brief introduction of myself. So first of all, I would like to introduce Dr. Fazal Mehmood. Dr. Fazal Mehmood is, of course, a medical doctor, but is also an executive coach, a trainer, and international inspirational speaker. Dr. Fazal's expertise spans direct sales and business in the US, complemented by his passion for healthcare. He delivers insights into leadership communication and human behavior to Learn to Grow Rich USA and Worldwide Success Academy, and as an executive director with the John Maxwell Company. I welcome Dr. Mehmood. Our second speaker is Dr. Mohammad Zishan. Dr. Mohammad Zishan is a clinical assistant professor of psychiatry at Rutgers. He's a psychiatrist by training. He's also the immediate past president of APPNA and the current president of the NISTER Alumni of North America, NANA. And he's also a certified master parenting coach and a certified Maxwell leadership coach. Myself, my name is Adil Ahmad. I'm a Dow graduate in 2005. By training, I'm a dermpath. I'm in practice for almost 12 years now, private practice as well as in academics. Have academic appointments at Rother Park Cancer Center and some other places, and also have an MBA and business management experience and practice management experience. So Dr. Zishan would like to speak you to start the course, explain the outline, and we can begin, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adil. First of all, I just want to have a huge round of applause to Dr. Asif Muhyiddin, President of APPNA, for his visionary leadership in empowering members to enhance their skills through our advanced leadership course. Dr. Fazal Mehmood, Dr. Asif Muhyiddin, and I met in August last year during the Maxwell conference in Orlando, Florida, where Dr. Muhyiddin expressed his interest that he really wants to elevate the leadership skills. You really believe in that. A lot of APPNA members, especially the young member, have a lot of potential, but they could really get benefit with some intensive course. I'm really grateful for his vision and providing us this opportunity to start our course. My special thanks to Dr. Sadiq Naveed, Dr. Khurram Siddiq, Dr. Adil, to you, and not Dr. Mr. Walid, for all of your dedication in organizing this valuable initiative. And also congratulations to all the participants who have taken the step to elevate their leadership abilities. So if you are ready, so this is all to all of you. If you think you are ready to take your skills to the next level, please let us know in the chat. So you can just simply write in the chat, I'm ready. So I will just give you 1 minute to just write in the chat, I'm ready. And while people are chatting, I know it may be earlier in the morning, in some part of the world, late at night. So if you know anyone who signed up for the course, but not write, I'm ready. So you just text, that person just gently, and just let that person know we can do it. So you're all here to learn and grow together. And I think it's a really honor. It's a really pleasure to have this course. So I will just go over brief outline of this course. So hopefully to excite and also give you, the depth, that the duration and the timeline. So this is an advanced leadership course. We have total 9 modules. Today, Dr. Fazal Mehmood will cover module 1 and 2. Next month, so it's a monthly webinar. So the next month in May, we will have the module 3 and 4 that are on coping with failure and stress management techniques. In June, we will have our 5, 6, and 9 module, which are more on personal development, healthcare professionalism and ethic, and career development. In July, during our summer meeting, we will have in person, but also later on, we will have similar for the audience who will not be able to participate in person. We will have our module 6, our modules 7 and 8, which are on women empowerment in healthcare and also understanding family dynamics. So that will be covered in July for in person, and then we will have similar for our online audience. So each module is 1 hour, which means that we will have 40 to 45-minute presentation followed by 15-minute question and answer session. And each month, we will cover 2 modules, except in June, where we will cover 3 modules in that month. So our goal and our hope is to help you, elevate where your leadership skills are, to inspire you so that you become a person of influence, which is the topic for today. You can achieve your dream, and you can really challenge yourself in this, the leadership area, where many times I have seen people feel uncomfortable. They see the value to do it, but because it's very uncomfortable, they don't know how to do it. They struggle in it. So hopefully with these our webinars, we can make it happen. And without any due delay, I would really like to invite really a good mentor, I would say, Dr. Fazal Mehmood. I met him last year, but I think was so impressed with his years of experience in leadership, in training, his dedication and devotion, not only people and the business persons in US, but also doing amazing work in Pakistan, trying to improve the leadership skills in younger generation, in business organization, in a lot of universities and academic institutions. So I'm really feel honored and excited to have Dr. Fazal Mahmood. He's a graduate of Liaquat Medical College, but has been in US for many years, and he's an executive director with John Maxwell Company. So thank you so much, Dr. Fazal Mahmood, for your time, for your dedication, and we are excited and looking forward. Although I didn't put in the chat that I'm ready, but I can just tell you I am ready, and I can't wait to learn from you. Thank you. Dr. Fazal, you are mute. Please unmute. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you, Dr. Zishan, for the great introduction. Again, my name is Dr. Faz, and it's my privilege to spend the next hour with you speaking a topic that has helped me, in return, allowed me to add value and help others. I'm so passionate about that. The topic is the leadership and continuing to grow as a leader. Greetings to all the distinguished doctors joining us today. Especially, I want to thank Dr. Asif Mohyuddin, Dr. Deel, Dr. Waleed for organizing this whole event. So I'm highly thankful to them. Leadership in medicine is not just about making decisions. It's about inspiring teams, fostering a culture of collaboration, and ultimately improving patient outcomes. As my friend and mentor, John Maxwell, he says that everything rises and falls on leadership. So leadership is just not about making the changes. Each one of us in this room, you can grow as a leader. What I am going to share with you today are some principles that anyone can use to start their development on their leadership journey. These same principles can be used by seasoned leaders to mentor other leaderships. We can all agree that everything does rise and fall on leadership, whether it's in the home, in business, in religion, or in medicine. So there we go. We all are agreed, pretty much, I believe. And if you're not, say no. But I see all the yeses. Whenever I go anywhere, everybody raise their hand. So no one, not even wanna raise their hand against that, because all we believe we have room to grow as a leader. So applying these principles that we are going to discuss today guarantees that you will become a better leader. I can attest that if the material I'm going to share with you today had been available me when I was young, I could be in a different position. So let's talk about the person who wants to become a better doctor, better supervisor, better administrator of a hospital, or wherever he wants to. He has to learn those skills. Leadership, a lot of time I get this question, are these leaders are born? And I usually smile and laugh and give the same answer. Yes, of course they are born. I never saw an unborn leader in my life. So, but it doesn't mean they were born as a leader. This is a skill which you have to learn, which you have to grasp, and which you have to master it. So let's talk about what we have to do to become a better leader in our business and in our community, at our home, or wherever we are in our country too. So I learned from mistakes. I started doing things that helped me to become a better leader. But many times, the person who moves into a leadership role like this just gets discouraged and leaves the company. Now, the company didn't only lose one of their best technician or best worker, but they also lose a potential leader. So, how we can protect that? So before we start making ourselves better leaders in the next 40-45 minutes, whatever time I will get, is not enough for us to do a deep dive into all the facets of developing our leadership. So I want to be the transparent with you upfront from the very start. We will not cover everything there is to know about developing the leader within you in this session together. Fair enough. I think uh, a few fundamental principles that if uh, we can talk about will be more than enough to get started. So let's start. What's the definition of leadership? In one sentence, if I have to describe what the leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Regardless whether the influence is good or bad, we will debate on that later on, but there will be an influence. If you Google the definition of leadership, you will get more than 760 million results. I would like you to take a moment and think about what leadership means to you. How would you define leadership? Most people don't consider themselves as a leader unless they have a title or a position. However, I'm sure we have all seen many people over the years who have a title and a position, but they are not very good leaders. They may have some authority in an area, but when it comes to true leadership, they are really just managers, managing processes. A real leader knows that leadership is all about people. Another assumption that people make it that they are not a born leader. No one is a born leader, but everyone has the power essential to become a leader. Dedicating yourself to learning and applying sound leadership principles, you can grow as a leader. Another argument I hear is, I don't know where to start. My answer is always the same. Start right where you are today, and you can become a better leader by intentionally developing the leader that already lies within you. The most important concept of leadership is influence. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, like John said in his book. So let's look at deeper at this statement. For a better verse, who can go others to follow is a leader, because a leadership is all about influence. So you have to ask whether you influence in a positive or a negative. Like Hitler was a leader because he was able to influence so many people. And did you know that Time magazine in 1938, he was man of the year? So, but again, he was an influencer, although he was a bad leader and bad influencer. So now look at the other leaders, Martin Luther King or Mother Teresa or Abdul Sattar Edhi or Muhammad Ali Jinnah. All they were great leaders because they had influence on people. And still they are carrying their legacy in front of their nation. So let's talk about how influence, uh, like we understand now the importance of influence. Let's talk about the levels of influence. What are the levels of influence? Which is a very unique thing. We a lot of people they don't understand. So let me take you on that journey. Are you ready? There are 5 levels of leadership. The basic entry level of leadership is the potential level or positional level. This is the lowest level of leadership because at this level, people follow because they have to, not because they want to, because they have to take away the paycheck or let them, they want to clock out and clock in and clock out, and that's how they want to work. And at this level, your influence goes from 4 to a 1 or maybe even 0 in a heartbeat because you don't really influence them. So the position means like somebody offered you a job as a manager, as an administrator, or as a head of department. Again, everybody starts from somewhere, and this is a great to have a positional, but this is the bottom level of leadership. People are going to follow your orders, people are going to follow you, people are going to listen you, but not because they, they want to, because they have to. So basically, you're not at the level of where you want to be. So now it doesn't mean that this is a bad area. No, you have to get started from there and let's move on to the next level, which is we call level 2. And level 2 of leadership is called permission, where you build some relationships with your team, with your colleagues, or with your followers, or with your employees, wherever you are using your leadership values are. And then you start talking to them, ask some questions, try to find out what their hard buttons are, who they are, how they live, and what are their issues are. And once you get into that, then you give a personal touch to them. And here people follow the leader because they want to now. Permission is characterized by good relationship. The motto on this level is people don't care how much you know, but until they know how much you care. People who are willing, unwilling, or unable to build solid, lasting relationship soon discover that they can also not sustain lasting, effective relationships. So we have to develop the relationships, build some relationships. The same people who were just a clock watcher prior to that, now they are going to come to you. Sir, it's 4 o'clock. I have 1 more hour. Do you want me to do something extra? They are going to give you the permission to order them whatever you would like to get it done. Prior to that, they want to get out of there. So now this is the level 2. People always like this relationship level. But again, we are not done yet. Let's go to the next level, what we can do more. So at level 3, let me get to the level three. At level three, as a leader, raise your hands if any of the following sounds good to you. Level three, productivity starts to go up. Means you're showing the results of your organization or your business or your company or your hospital, wherever you are leading the people. You increase the value and showing the productivity. And everyone who was underneath you, beneath you, who was working beneath you, will start giving you more respect, and you are going to turn into a model for them that I want to be like him. He's my boss, but he's very friendly, and now he's showing how to do the job. That's definitely people get attracted to that, and they will give you more respect. So what happens in that? When productivity starts to go up, people reach their goals, profit increases, morale becomes high, turnover becomes low, and team loyalty increases. I think any business owner who get excited about that, does anyone agree with me? So let's keep going because it gets better. Now let's go to the level four. What is the level four? So with this level three, the results are the real word which you can use on the level three. Now the level four is able to develop other people, and people will follow because what you have done for them. Here the leader becomes great not because of his all the other stuff, but because you are teaching them, you are trying to help them to produce themselves as a leader. So their power, because their ability to empower others. You win people's hearts and minds by helping them grow personally. Here are a few questions you can ask yourself to see if you are a level four leader. Number one, am I passionate about my personal growth? Does my growth journey have credibility? Are people attracted to me because of my growth? And am I successful in the areas where I want to develop others? Am I willing to be a vulnerable role model and coach? And do the people I develop succeed? So when you're going to ask these questions, you're going to feel more confidence and more competent whatever you do. And if you do all these steps one by one, you don't have to be master of all, but you have to be good at all. And the last level you can see at the top is called the pinnacle, which is the personhood level, and which is the word I use is for the respect. This is the level where you have done so long for so many and so much that you have to do nothing, everybody will do for you. Like you can see all the major and most prominent leaders around the world. If you see their history, whether it's a Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Mahatma Gandhi, or whatever you name it, they are no longer in this universe. They are gone. They are not in this planet no more. But still, people are carrying their legacy with their name because they did so much for so long for so many. So you can, but this is the level where you hardly 1 to 2% people can reach. Most of the time, people can't reach there because it's not easy. But so in these five levels, if you consider all these five levels, so see the number one and number five. These two levels are beyond your control. I mean to say, you don't control those two levels because number one position is given to you by someone. You didn't have that. Somebody gave you, which is okay because we have to get started. So you got started from there. And same thing, the pinnacle level where the respect comes in, you can't ask for that. You have to earn it. So you have to live all your life between two, three, and four to develop your leadership and to develop your leadership capability, whatever you have, and you have to increase it because it's a learnable skill. Because at the level five, people follow you because who you are and what you represent. Only a few people reach this level. Those who do have led well and proven Their leadership over a lifetime, they have invested in others' leadership and raised them to the level four leaders. They have no developed influence not only to their organization, but beyond them. One of the greatest challenges applying the five levels of leadership is that you must earn each level of influence with every person in your life. Now, does everyone feel like to have a better understanding of the importance of influence and leadership? Think of the people you can influence to a greater level when you leave here today. Okay, let's move on and talk about the key to leadership, and that is priorities. How many would say that you have all the time you need in a day to accomplish everything you want? I don't think so. Anybody will. No one is. Whenever I do group or individual coaching, the same topic always comes up. No one seems to have the enough time in their day. People always want to talk about the ways to manage their times better. However, managing something means controlling it and changing it. But when it comes to time, there is nothing to manage. Everyone gets the same 24 hours a day. I heard a good saying a long time ago that I want to share with you today. Here it is. Are you ready? Money is not your wealth. Time is your wealth. Let me repeat that. Money is not your wealth. Time is your wealth. And I used to get frustrated. So I used to get frustrated all the time that I can get everything done. So I have to learn those techniques or principles. So let me talk about no one escapes the pressure of demands, deadlines, and difficulties. So a lot of time people talk about that time flies, time goes by, and it goes so quick. And you heard so many times, 100 times in our life. Are you, do you think it's the right statement? I don't think so. Time never ever flies. Time never goes by. Time is an eternity. It stands still. We come and leave. It depends on how fast we are trying to climb. That's how the time goes from for us. But otherwise, if we can slow down ourselves, we can do in the right way, time will go along with us. So time never flies, time never goes by. Keep in mind. Always, I was in Karachi last month. I was visiting Pakistan, and one of my friend, he is a CEO and owner of a company. I can't take the name because of the confidentiality. He invited a few more CEOs and owners of the companies to introduce me, and we had a dinner at Karachi Gymkhana Club, and we were sitting and talking to each other. And suddenly, one of the owner of the company said, "Sir, while you're in Pakistan, would you be kind enough to come in my company and give a lecture on time management?" I said, "Sorry, I can't." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I don't believe in that." And he laughed and he said, "You don't believe in time management?" I said, "No, the time can never be managed. You can manage only yourself in that time, but time will not be managed by you. Time is an eternity, it's going to stand still. We come and leave, like I said." So, anyway, so we always complain about time. We all have 1440 minutes, whether Elon Musk or anybody who's complaining, they all have the same time. Everybody is doing the same stuff, whatever they have to do. So the problem is how we set up our priorities. What happens all the time? Let me tell you what's the common practice is. Most of the time, people set up their schedule for tomorrow before they leave their office. I believe you all do the same. To-do list, which is a more common word to use, to-do list for tomorrow. And we put like 10, 12, 14, 15 things on that. And now next morning we show up in our office, take a cup of coffee or whatever your morning rituals are. We sit down and we start looking at this to-do list, and then we start thinking about what should I do first. And it takes 60 minutes just to decide what I have to do first, and we spend like whole 1 hour for nothing. So my friends, never, ever, ever schedule. You prioritize your schedule. You always schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule every morning sitting there. What should I do first and the next and the next? Only schedule priorities, because that's our problem. That wastes so much time for all of us. So you have to manage your priorities. That's all. You don't manage time or anything. No one escapes the pressure of demands, deadlines, and difficult, but we can get confused about our priorities. Here are a few simple truths about priorities. Most people overestimate the importance of things. We can all make a long list of what we would like to do every day, but not all of them are important. Like psychologist William James said, the art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. Again, the art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. So, for everyone who leads, whether she is a mother or a father or a classroom teacher or a leader or a company owner, will my calendar be full? But the question is always who and what will fill my calendar? When we don't feel like we have enough time, we need to examine ourselves, our choices, our calendars, our priorities. And I love what John once said, you can't manage your time, but you can manage your priorities. I think that is a great quote to remember. With this, I mean, let's talk about how we can manage our priorities. So let's go to the next priority principles. We need to be proactive in setting our priorities. Let me cover a few priority principles. Working smarter has a higher return than working harder. How many times have you seen people complain about their lives and never seem to get to where they want to go? However, day after day, they go through the process of getting up, going to work, eating dinner, watching TV, and going to bed. The same thing, day in, day out. What's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same things over and expecting different results? I heard a great football coach say, there is the pain of discipline and there is the pain of regret. We must have the discipline to learn and grow every day if we want to live, to change and improve. Same thing, there is another saying by Zig Ziglar who said that you can't have it all. Like you put on a to-do list and you want to get everything done, it's not going to happen. So you can't have it all. If you want to have anything, if you want to have anything, you have to know what you want. If you want to be successful, you have to make choices. You have to prioritize. You have to prioritize our personal growth and development if we are going to grow our influence as a leader. The good is always the enemy of the best. You must remember this is a priority principle. Most people can prioritize between the good and the bad, or right and the wrong. But the real challenge is when we are faced with two good choices. Which one should we choose? The key to remember here is that sometimes the good has to be sacrificed for the best. And the third thing is, which is very important, is proactive versus beats the reactive. That's a very important thing. Remember, the question is not ever, will I have things to do, but will I do the things that make a difference to be effective? You have to be proactive. Here are some differences between proactive and reactive. Proactives, they prepare. Reactives, they repair. In our life, we live with two things in our life, whether we are repairing or preparing. We are repairing the mistakes we made yesterday because we were not prepared enough. But if we prepare today for tomorrow, do you think we are going to repair again? No. So it's going to save the time. So you have to be proactive. Proactive people do preparing, while reactive people do repairing. Proactive, they plan ahead, and the reactive people live in the moment. The prepare people anticipate problems, so they are proactive, and reactive people, they just react to the problem. Proactive people seize the moment. Reactive people wait for the right moment. So instead of always focusing on efficiency, we need to think about effectiveness. Instead of always focusing on doing things right, we need to focus on doing the right things. So these are periodic principles we have to go with, and we want to make. Let me give you the critical need to take precedence over the urgent. We always get confused. Number A, here's a simple but effective way to classify tasks that can help you quickly prioritize. Most people jump on urgent tasks without thinking. Influential people weigh both factors for each task and act accordingly. Here is how. Number one is high importance, high urgency. You have to tackle it first. High importance and high urgency, you have to tackle it first. Then high importance, low urgency. Set the deadlines for completion and fit these into your daily routine. And number three is low importance and high urgency. Find quick, effective ways to complete these tasks with minimal resources. And if possible, delegate them. Delegate them. And number four is low importance, low urgency. If these can be eliminated, eliminate them. If they can be delegated, could you find someone to do them? Let them do. If you must do them, schedule a small block each week to chip away at them, but never schedule them during your prime time. Uh, I want to end our discussion on priorities by talking about making room for margin. As a young leader, I used to think that I need to have every single walking or waking moment filled with the tasks and that were going to make me very successful. But I learned the hard way that this type of thinking only created stress in my life, stress in the lives of the people working with me, and more than anything, stress in my marriage and family and everywhere. Once I learned what I need to create margin in every area, I not only started enjoying life more, I also become a better leader and much more pleasant to be around. Like Richard Swenson wrote, margin is the space that exists between our load and our limits. And it is the amount that is allowed beyond that which is needed. It is something held in reserve for contingencies or space between breathing freely and suffocating. Margin is the opposite of overload. I love this. If you have a strong desire to grow and reach your full potential, you need to create a margin in your life. Here's why margin improves self awareness. Margin gives you the needed time to think, and margin provides you with energy renewals. So let's get to the next. So, how we can create a margin? That's another question. Constantly be on the lookout for the way to simplify your life. Use the 80-20 principle. We discussed earlier that we need a margin in our life. Pareto principle. It's called Pareto principles. You can see the number of priorities here on the screen, 2 and 8, and 20% and 80%. So 20% of your real to-do list can get the result of 80% of your day, while all the rest, 80%, can give you return of only 20%. So what are the 20% of my possessions from which I get the most value? You have to decide. What are the 20% of the clothes I wear 80% of the time? What do I spend 20% of my leisure time doing that gives me 80% of my happiness? What are the 20% of the people I am closest to that give me 80% of my happiness? The goal is here to reduce the complexity of your life. Just like the margin in your bank account is important for financial base, the margin in your life is just as important. So make more margin in your life. 20/80. The 20% of your work gives you the 80% return. So prioritize those 20% things which can give you the most return. The second main, now that understand the importance of priorities, let's finish discussing the foundation of leadership, and that's called character. If you are buying or selling the house, what is the most essential thing must be done before the purchase is closed and the title is transferred over to the new owner? That's right. The house must be inspected. What's the most essential part of the house to be inspected? The foundation. Why is this? Because how beautiful the house or what sturdy material it is made from, it doesn't matter. If it has a solar panels, a new kitchen, and a restored bathroom, without a solid foundation, the house will eventually collapse. The same is true for a leader. The leader's foundation is in their character. Without a solid character, the leader eventually falls. Take a moment and think of a leader y- you know when whose influence suddenly went from very high to very low. What was the reason for such a drastic change? I'll bet it was due to some cracks in their character foundation. You see examples of this all the time. Sadly, many times it's someone that people look up to, someone in sports, in movies, and even sometimes in countries and politics and everywhere. We all have times when we fall short in our character. I know I have. I heard a good saying from a preacher one time. He said that we are all just one step away from stupid. And that's so true. Again, countless times, people have thrown away great careers and a future that most people dream of just because they did something without thinking how it could impact them. I also know that one of the areas that I work on the most is developing my character. I focuses on three things to strengthen this character foundation, valuing people, and I believe practicing the self leadership and embracing good values. And that's the only way I could survive. So we have to make an inventory of our character, what we have and what we can do better. Now, let me move to the next thing, which is called law of lead. So, law of lead is written by John C. Maxwell, my friend and my mentor and my business partner, who wrote the best book regarding to the leadership. He has written like 42 books and sold like 20 million books in 44 different languages. In total, he wrote almost 100 books, but 44 books on leadership. And this is the book which is called most of the time the Bible of the leadership. And it's the most important book ever written on the leadership. It's called 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, where John describes he has spent 48 years in the leadership era, and he's still the number one leadership group by Forbes and Inc. magazines. So, according to that book, the first law which he described was the law of the lid. Means leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. How is this is a huge law? Although one law is not more important than other, but this is if you believe in the first law, you can going to understand better and easier than the rest of the 20 laws easily. So in the next few minutes, I will talk about the law of the lid. Law of you have a great passion learned to others. Importance of this law by using the hints, I will show you how it works. For a moment, this is a visual illustration. Please, let's say, for example, my left hand are representing my job or my business or my family, whoever I'm leading. That's my left hand. And from 1 to 10, if I'm at 6, all my followers, all my employees, all my family members who I'm leading will be underneath that. Because I'm 6, so they will be 4, 5, or 6 maximum. Maximum is 6, but 5, 5.5, they will be done. So you have to increase your lid level first. You have to go up. You have to grow up to go up. So if you want to go to the 9 or 10, first you have to raise your lid level. And then entire company, entire business, or entire community, whoever you are leading, will go up. So this is called law of lid. And this law of lid I understood from a very famous story, which you are already probably well known to that. There were two brothers, Dick and Morris, came from Tennessee to California, and they were trying to make their career in Hollywood, but they couldn't make it, and they started a restaurant, and that became very popular in a small town. And at that level, they said, okay, it's peak of this town. Let's go to a bigger city and we can start there. And they started another restaurant, actually not another, but they replaced that. And they started a restaurant in Pasanda, California is the town where they started. And this time they change a little bit that they are going to make the food on assembly line. There was a guy who used to supply them milkshakes machines. His name was Ray Kroc, and he was observing them. He was watching them that they are doing very good job, both brothers. So he came to them and he said, "Would you mind to be uh, take me as a partner, and we can increase this business. We can expand this business." First of all, they didn't feel like, but they did it for a while. But because they were making now over $100,000 a year, so they thought that we are already rich people. And I'm talking in 1939, $100,000 were a lot of money. But the Ray Kroc was looking something different in that, and he said, "Why? I will pay you 1.2 million and just sell this business to me. The only one condition is it's going to have the same sign and same name of the company." They said, "Okay, we'll take the 1.2 million and we'll run away." And they did. So, like old saying is, you have to have a right decision at the right time. So both had a right time, but they were thinking in a different way, while Ray Kroc was thinking a different way. And Ray Kroc took over that business, and now that business makes over $1 trillion every year. You know that business is? You all know. It's McDonald's. Because the law of the lid, you can see right there, their lid was right at $100,000. They couldn't think at that point, but Ray Kroc was looking at a bigger picture. So when you raise the lid level, everything goes below that. So lid of my leadership will never allow my business to get any higher. It will never allow my, in the other words, if this is truly is my leadership lid company, my business, my department, or my organization, whatever it is, it can never get any higher than lid of my leadership. So our leadership will, in whatever it is going to, literally control and determine the size of our business. Now, this is huge. If I were sitting where you are right now, I was taking notes and that I would be saving to. That leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. So, law of lead. So raise your lead, everything will go up. Then another law, which is very important, while the before is the law of navigation, and the law of navigation says anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. I have often described leadership in kind of two terms. There is what I call the art of the leadership, and then there is a technical form of leadership. The law of navigation is a technical form of leadership. When you get on the ship, you don't want to look up and see that the captain is just Mr. Magoo. There are three statements I want to make, and these three statements here are: the leader is one who sees more than others. Leader is one who sees farther than others. And leader is one who sees before than others. And that's how you navigate. Because you want to lead people, so you have to be seeing more than others, farther than others, and before than others. And that's how people are going to follow you, and you are going to be influential leader. So a leader is one, you put them in a room, they sense things quicker than any other sense. So that's a quality of them, because their intuition level and all these are, there are 21 laws. I can't go through all, but I'm trying to squeeze as much as we can. So there is another law, it's called law of process, says leadership develops daily, not in a day. This is an incredible law I love to teach. And the reason I love to teach it is that if a person can understand process, they are going to be very effective as a leader. But if they don't understand the process, becoming a leader, they're going to get very frustrated. We overestimate the event and we underestimate the process. I have found this to be very common with the people in leadership. They overestimate what an event will do for them. They come to a leadership conference, or they read a leadership book, or they are attending a webinar like today, uh, and they read a leadership book, or they say, oh my goodness, this is so good, and this is gonna make me a leader. This is going to change me. Now, let me just explain to you that there was between the event and the process. Like going to a leadership conference, reading a leadership book, listening to a like a tapes and audio nowadays, like a YouTube audio books, leadership lecture, or attending leadership event, that encourages decision. But the process encourages development. Even get you motivated, but the process makes you mature. We don't want microwave leaders, like put in the microwave and turn it on, and they are going to go up and down and jumping here and there in a few minutes. They're going to come out and they said, oh, we are leaders. Leader, we need to start crock potting, where they can get marinated, they can smell good, and they can work well, and they can, you can feel the taste of leadership. So that's a huge one. More thought about is that's a tremendous law of process, that the secret of our success is discovered in our daily agenda. What we do every day is the secret of success. I hear this thing, and you do too, all the time. One day I'm going to do this. Someday I will be like you. Someday I will be like this. Someday I will. And I usually ask these people, have you seen one day or someday in any calendar in this planet? I heard only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I never heard of a month, someday, or one day. So there is no such thing lies here. So why you are thinking that one day or someday you are going to get it done? So your success is always in your daily agenda. What we do every day is the secret to our success. Not what we do at one moment, or not what we are going to do sometime. Remember, success is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a process. And so many times we confuse true success with what I call recognition of success. It's like my friend one time said to me, he said, all my life I have worked hard at being an overnight success. Bingo. That's so key. It's process, the law, the process leaders develop daily, not in a day. A lot of time I go and people invite me on these graduation parties and big parties, in our community and a lot of other places, or sometime as a keynote speaker. So I ask these questions. Do you think today is still a real day where you are getting success? And people, they raise their hands. Yeah, this is a celebration day. This is this. I said, no, basically, this is the recognition day. You were successful the day when you got the admission in that school. You were successful every semester when you cleared. You were successful when you did your homework every day. Today is the only day when we are recognizing that good job, buddy. You have done the right job. And now you're good to go. So that's a recognition. It's not a success. Starts with the process. That takes the whole process to go through. Not the day, not the moment where we celebrate. So in conclusion, effective leadership is not just about guiding others, it's about inspiring them to reach their full potential, fostering a culture of growth, and leaving a lasting legacy of positive impact. As we journey forward, let us embrace challenges, lead with courage and integrity, and continue to learn and grow together. Thank you for your attention and dedication to the pursuit of exceptional leadership. Let's strive for greatness and make a difference in the world. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Dr. Faz. Yes, Dr. Adil, please go ahead with the question, but thank you so much for this inspiring talk.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mehmood. And I think, Dr. Zishan, your session, we have some questions, but perhaps we can do it towards the end, or you would like to take the questions right now?
So my session is attending Dr. Fazil Mahmood's session. So he will be present. So today is just a learning day. I'm just hearing. So Dr. Fazil will continue with the same, but this is just 5-10 minutes for the questions. But Dr. Fazil will continue on the same. Yeah, because the reason I'm saying is because after this inspiring talk, if you tell Dr. Zishan is coming, half the people will leave. So for first session, we keep Dr. Fazil on the both session so that we keep inspiring. So Dr. Adil, would you like to ask some questions? There are some questions in the Q&A, and I think there are some in the chat.
Yes. So the first question is, does every person at every position has the privilege of becoming a leader? I don't feel okay saying yes for the juniors.
Yeah, that's why I gave you the 5 stages of the leadership. Everybody starts from a position. Means the young junior doctor means now he's a doctor. That's a position given to him by his work and all that. Now he has to establish from there onwards. Then he has to develop the relationship as a doctor, as an administrator, or whatever the position he has in that hospital. He has to develop and build the relationship. So now I can give you an example, which is a very good question, Dr. Adil. Sorry. I was invited in a big engineering company of the United States, and there were like 700 employees, all the engineers. So their CEO had an appointment with me, and I walked there. I mean, I pulled my car in the parking lot, and I saw all the cars were parked by reversing, all the, and I was there 5 minutes earlier, as usual, because I always go early. So walked in his office. He sat down with me. He invited 2 of their other directors to sit down with me, and we were talking. And they were telling about a little bit about their company, and they said, "Dr. Faz, how you can help us to improve this situation?" I said, "I don't know exactly what you guys do and what your revenues are. I have no idea, but I learned well in the very first minute when I pulled my car in your parking lot, and we were on 6th floor. I asked them, come on here. follow me. And I took it to the window and I said, have you ever seen your parking lot? How the people park their car? See, everybody. So it means in your company, you have a leadership problem because everybody parked his car by reversing it because they don't want to even stay there 30 seconds more than what they have to. They want to run away. They are clock watchers. And you see in those companies, if 9 to 5, 4:30, 4:40, they will start packing up. 4:45, they will walk into each other's cubes. Hey, how's your plan for this evening? Oh, hope you have a good evening, and blah, blah. Then 4:50, they will start taking off their shoes for the gym or something different. And 4:57, they are walking towards the door. And 5:01, you see in that lot, nobody's there except the boss because they didn't want to stay because the best time of their life was starting at 5 o'clock. So my point is that's called positional leaders. So if you build the relationship and you show them your relationship with them, the same people who are trying to pack up at 4 o'clock, they will walk in your office, Dr. Adil. It's 4 o'clock. It's still I have 1 hour to go. Do you want me to do something? He's giving you the permission to order it, whatever you want to get it done. But now you got the permission. And then the third level I showed you about the productivity. If you show how to do the job, they come on here, let's see how we do it and how it produces for our company or for ourselves. So you are going to become the model for that. Oh, Dr. Deal, what a nice human being. I want to be like him. He's my boss. He's so friendly. He's so courteous. And also he knows what to do. So that's how. So for all my young physicians, these are the models, right? Sitting on the screen, Dr. Zishan, Dr. Adil, Dr. Asif, all these are your models. So these youngsters have to learn from them and to build their relationships with them and to follow that. Medicine is going to be the same. You are not going to do some rocket science in that. The treatments are going to be pretty similar, which any other doctor will do, but there will be a difference between you and the others will be your character, your attitude, and your behavior, and your relationships, and your leadership abilities are going to make the difference. That's all. वो उर्दू में एक कहावत है ना कि यार इसकी तो बातों से ही ठीक हो जाता हूँ मैं. That's an Urdu code, but I won't use Urdu because I was told that no Urdu here. So, but I just want to tell it. Yes, sir.
We have one more question about the vulnerable role model, like a bit more elaboration about that concept.
Hmm. Role model,
Vulnerable role model. Yeah.
yes. See, definitely in the next chapter, which next lecture, which we are going to start in a couple minutes, which is about influencing people, which is basically the part of that. But I will tell you because you asked me this question, it's going to cover that. Because a great role model is a person who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way. Simple. Who have done already, he knew how to do it, and now he's willing to teach you to. So those three things you have to remember. Don't make the models just because of they are charismatic. It's okay. We all like charismatic people. We all like beautiful people. We all like different ways. But if I want to have a role model for me, role model, then I need somebody who can walk me through this process of life and who can make me successful because he's going to save my time because he has done already. So I'm not going to make the same mistakes which he has already made it. So that's a role model, and that's how you can find. And everywhere you can find those people around you. Because law of attraction starts there, Dr. Adil. Because when you are going to look around, like Dr. Wayne Dyer said, the way you start looking at things, the things gets changed. The way you think. So it's a law of attraction. You are going to attract. In Urdu, I usually tell people in my entire lectures that God never gives you whatever you want, whatever you wish. God only gives you who you are. You have to become first. You have to grow yourself and you have to learn that, which is not a rocket science. Anybody can learn. Nobody is born with those.
And maybe we can take like one more question, and then
Sure,
we can
sure.
move on.
As
Rest of
many you
time.
want. As many you
Um, um, so the question is, can we differentiate the healthcare leadership from the general leadership, like the corporate leadership?
Yes. In corporate leadership, there is a misunderstanding, even in healthcare too, but more in corporate leadership. They think that manager is a leader because they have a lot more management part, not the leadership. And who is manager? Manager is a person who manages the process, performance, and people. But leadership is a person who develops people, process, and performance. So there's a huge difference between two. One is developing and other is managing only. Manager wants to keep his job. Leadership don't care about job because he knows how to lead. And obviously people like, nobody wants to be managed. They want to be led. Keep in mind. And we are doctors and we are God gifted people. Keep in mind. And not everybody can become a doctor. You know that. We have been through all that. When I was in school, when I was in college, when I used to walk in those days in the entire province of Sindh, there were only two medical colleges in the entire province. Well, now in every city they have colleges. But in those days, I mean, that was a huge competition. And we go through all that. And still, they have a lot of barriers before you get into a medical school. It's not easy. So you are God gifted people. So it's easy for you to lead. You cannot be just managing people. I can hire somebody who can do, I can delegate that job to manage, who's going to keep the performance and process and on papers what time he has to show up and what time he has to leave. But doctor or a professional healthcare, they lead people. You lead towards the life. The people who was dying, now he's surviving. How? You led him, you led her on the right direction. And that's what we do. This is our part of our profession. We lead people.
Yes, thank you. I think we will start, so we will have enough time. We have a lot of questions, and
I love
we'll
to. Yeah, we can do at the end. No worries.
yeah. So we will have so that we can go over because everyone want to be person of influence. So we want to keep going to how to become a person of influence, and definitely I think please everyone keep asking your questions. Yeah, put it in a Q&A, and we will have a lot of time to go over. And one part of the person of influence, remember, after first these two module, you need make sure at least influence one more person so that we can have more and more people to join this session and get more inspired. And with that being said, I would like to request Dr. Fazal to please go ahead and we'll keep track of the question in the Q&A. Thank you.